So once you click on the link given as powerbi.microsoft.com/enus/downloads, you would see lots of things to download on this screen. If you have a look on the top left, you would see Microsoft Power BI Desktop. As I said, this is your primarily development location, be it a developer or a business analyst or anyone who wishes to build Power BI reports and dashboards should have and must download this feature, this component from BI site. So if I go ahead and click on this, it takes me to a place in Microsoft Store. I can download it from this site. Alternatively, I can download it using advanced download options. It would take me to a download screen. So there are two ways, either from the store or from another website, Microsoft official website. The details, as I said, if you see, this is the latest product which was deployed on 25th of May. So rest assured, you would be seeing month-on-month update on this screen. Secondly, you would have to, if you can get the data, and these are the advanced features we are anyway going to touch, as in how to fetch data from different sources, how to build relationship and build models from the data, then you develop reports from that models, then you save those reports and then publish your reports on Power BI service. This is the basic workaround which anyway we are going to have a look at it. As I said, the system requirement is any Windows machine and Windows operating system can easily install Power BI Desktop for development. And installation, you need to take care what version are you downloading. Is it x86 or x64? Now let's click on download. It asks you what kind of version. Let's go with Power BI 64 and say next. It downloads it for you. By the time this gets downloaded, let's have a look at Power BI service. The Power BI service can be accessed from app.powerbi.com website. Let's wait. Please note, this is an official account and from which you can access the Power BI service. If you use any personal email ID or passwords, you won't be able to consume the reports as well as develop reports. Ensure you have a domain which is a non-public email ID, and then you proceed with the development. In this case, I've downloaded a Power BI Desktop and this is the dashboard. We would shortly log in. So if I open my downloaded file, yes, there is an MSI which says, do you let it complete the space requirement? Yes, there we are. So now we have the Power BI ready for installation. You just download, you just click I accept the terms and conditions of Power BI Desktop. You click on next, you install it using your mouse next button. You create a desktop on your screen, desktop shortcut on your screen, and then you say install. Please permit it to install it on your machine by clicking on yes. There we are. Components are getting registered, registry values are getting updated, old files, if any, are getting removed. A clean latest Power BI Desktop is ready for use. This is a one-step installation, and once this is installed, it is pretty much develop and deploy kind of a setup. Yes, we have installed this Power BI Desktop successfully, and now we start with Power BI usage. If you look at it, in the bottom right, we have a screen which is opened up. Yes, there we are. So there are some earlier developed reports. We can go ahead and say try for free. It would take us to a website wherein we would have to give up our work email address. Mind you, if you write abc@gmail.com and you try to send, it would always turn up and say it looks like a personal email address. Please enter your work address to go ahead. So you would need your corporate email ID to go ahead before you use this product. In my case, I would just enter my email ID, which is already logged in. I would like to sign in with my email ID, right? So this is my email ID. You may not be able to view it. Once I sign in, it takes me to my corporate account, and yeah, pretty much it is signed in. So this is a blank screen which will come out for you. Let's have a look at what all components do we see on this screen, and from the next time onwards, the next lecture, next class onwards, we would individually dive deeper into all of these things. Whatever we see on the top menu bar is an home icon, a view button, modeling, and help. Any help related to learning this Power BI, you do have guided learning. There is certain documentation, training videos, BI blog, community, some samples for the developers, and idea submission. This is where, as I said, Microsoft is constantly gathering feedback from their customers, and that which very quickly turns into their requirement, and then they implement it in their monthly releases. There is a partner showcases wherein the partners have developed something great using Power BI is being shown over here. We'll have a look at it, and there are some consultant services. Home icon is wherein you can connect to a varied source of data. So this is a primarily first step what we'd like to do once we are into Power BI desktop and we get into the development. Then there are recent sources which are a subset of the data you bought in. There is enter data. Then you have a new pages. The pages are at the bottom. You can click on a new page at the top, or you can click on the plus icon on the bottom. Either or will add new tabs at the bottom of the screen. You can add a new visual. The visuals, all these new visuals just create boxes on the screen over here. These visuals can be added from the visualization pane. These are the different visuals which are available in Power BI by default. There are different buttons which you can have it on the screen. On click of it, you can transmit into another website or any tabs or any other page. There are certain visualization which you can import from Marketplace, which we'll have a look at it in our next series. From any file, if you have a file data in which new Excels are getting appended every month, you can have that folder mapped and synced into Power BI. This is a very interesting feature. We'll definitely have a look at this. There's a way to switch the theme. You can switch the color combination of the screens what you see over here, and you can import another theme at your own, or you can select a theme which is developed by somebody else. So now let's have a look. So these are the different options to begin with. Different kinds of views and certain selections. As we progress, we'll have a look at it. Modeling is the place wherein you would create new columns, update some columns, change the data and the format type of the columns of data. You can have a roles and security. As I mentioned, Power BI has its own security feature, that is a role level security as defined by Microsoft. It is implemented in Power BI. You can have a different kind of language setup. In this case, it is English. And you can have different linguistic schema imports. So currently we only have Spanish. We can import other schemas as well. Whatever you see on the left is the grid of data once you import, and certain relationship. If you have more than one set of data or tables or Excels, you can have relationship built in this system. This is another technical area which we'll touch upon in a very great depth, and knowing the pros and cons and the right way of using things. If we go back, there are fields. Once you import the data, you would have lots of fields on the right. Let's quickly have a look at what kind of data can we import. As I said, there are multiple and various different kinds of sources which is available by Microsoft, which is made available by Microsoft to be consumed. So you can have a look, you can have a Excel data, text data, CSV, XML, JSON data, folder data, PDF data, which can be converted into the tabular data over here. SharePoint folder. Many organizations use Microsoft SharePoint and Power BI hand in hand. They can exploit this connector and fetch all the list data and document library data from SharePoint. There's a SQL Server database connector wherein you can directly connect your SQL Server using the credentials and go ahead with it, porting the data as you need. There is an Access database which primarily business analysts keep with them for some kind of huge data which is beyond Excel. SQL Server's analytics service database. If you have SSAS cubes built in, you can connect to those cubes directly and consume them. Oracle database, IBM DB2, IBM Informix, IBM NetTesa, MySQL. So these are different kinds of corporate database backend software which is majorly used across the organization. You can see modern day SAP HANA, Teradata database, right? You can see Amazon Redshift, a cloud based database, SAP Warehouse database, Impala, Google BigQuery, Vertica, Snowflake, Sbase, and many more. You can connect to Microsoft Azure cloud-based computing system. You can connect to data lake storage, Azure HD Spark, Power BI data sets if you have it anywhere in the cloud, SharePoint online list. So we had seen SharePoint connector, which is an on-premise, SharePoint online list, Microsoft Exchange, wherein you can get in the data on the people and in the organization. You can have Dynamics Office 365 online data, NAVs. You can have Azure DevOps related data, Salesforce, a major sales related software used by many companies for their sales team. It can be used. Google Analytics. This is a very interesting analytics piece. We'll have a look at it. Adobe Data Analytics. Data World, Facebook data. They're now moving on to the social media side of it. MailChimp data, as there are many marketing, media marketing, email marketing firms would like to analyze MailChimp dashboards. They can very well do it. You can also have QuickBooks. These are accounting softwares used by many different companies, mid-sized companies. That data can be imported. The Spark Post data, Twilio, Tigra, Webfront, Zendesk. These is a ticketing system which is used by many organizations for logging in all the requests and queries and problems across the organizations, across the function. That data can be linked to this. You can query a web data, you can put in an URL, get in the data from the screen. You can have OData feeds, which is used by technical developers. Microsoft Exchange, Spark, RScript, Python data, and many more. Team Desk, and many more. Microsoft Graph Security, some of the latest products can be linked. Microsoft products can be linked to this data. There's a workspace, blank query. These data sets are file-based data sets. These are databases which are SQL databases and NoSQL databases. All kinds of databases can be used. Power BI data sets can be imported. Data flows, Power BI, Azure related, cloud-based. So there are on-premise, there are cloud-based Azure online services, again something on the cloud, and there are others which you can build it on your own, which is available in your company, can be linked in to these to this Power BI. And if you want to look at it, there's a link which takes us to a connector. So to be very easy and quick, let's have a look at a file related database. And if I have to tell you, let's take an Excel file and which takes me to my desktop. And if I have to import this Excel data, and if I have to, let's say we have this data, and Power BI connects to that data, identifies the data which is present in this list. If it can make sense, it will pull the data and ask us. It's still analyzing the content, And now it has found something under sheet 1. What did it find under sheet 1? It found these three things in the sheet 1. This is the kind of data which it has found from the system. Do we want to import this data is what it's asking us. Yes, we would like to import this data. So once we import the data, so if there are more sheets and more tables, you have to select them individually and say load. Please remember, load is the button name. By clicking on it, it brings in the data you select into Power BI. Whatever data you pull in would be available on the right side of your screen under fields. Have a look, right? So as you see, there are certain column names which are right now not making sense to us. We don't know what does it contain. So these are the different fields which is available over here, right? Now we want to see what kind of data has been pulled into the system. Let's go back to the left side of the screen and say data. When we say data, we see exactly what has been imported, right? This is what has been imported. Now you see there are certain pieces of data which is not important to us and it doesn't contain data. You can very well say right click, delete. So similarly, you can delete the data you don't need and it is off from your screen. At the same time, if you don't need, you say delete. Free duration. So in this case, let's say I don't want anything except blank, right? In this case, you can say, and this is how you've cleared it. Alright, so you can clear the filters over here. You can see what data you want. You don't need it, right? Then this is the relationship table. If you have more than one sheets or table, then this makes sense to create relationship across them. To keep this very simple, we are not building any relationship today. We have a set of data with us. Let's now visualize. To begin with visualization, let's pull a chart which is simple to understand. You can click on the visualization button on this screen, or you can click on new visual. Let's say new visual. What kind of visual would like to have? By default it has selected this, but I want something of this size. Now, what do you want to see on the x-axis? You can say it can be booking from. This is one kind of column, and probably some kind of monetary rate. If I say total gross is a column value. So you would see a stack chart. Probably this is not helping me in visualizing what I wanted. So what it is trying to tell me is on one particular day there has been different kinds of color coding. So red means Saturday, booking from Saturday, and the gross value is this, and this is booking from Wednesday, 1st May, and this is blank, so it couldn't find a booking value. Let's change the chart type, or let's add it into an axis. If I change this into booking from, booking to, or rather this is the better way of visualizing what was the percentage booking across these different days. So it was out of overall booking what I have, 24% has been booked on 6th, 1st of May, 25% has been booked on another, what do you say, this is June, this is May, and this is others, right? If you have a look at it, and let's have a look at it, we'll get to see what dates has been done. So there should be only two dates, 1st May and 1st June, right? So if we go back, it is not May, it is June. This is 1st of June. This is given in American MMDDYY format. Therefore, this is 1st of June. You've got business of total gross of 24% of the overall revenue, which is amount so and so. And another thing is on the 1st of May, whereas it was 25% of the overall revenue booked, is this much. So this is one of the charts which is given to us. We can also add tooltips if there is something you would like to see, right? You can always write currency probably in a tooltip if there is all values are in INR. This is something not available, therefore it's left blank. Wherever is monetary value available, it is shown. So this is overall your first chart, what you can see in this. You can change the different kinds of charts. You can size it the way you want. You can filter certain content, as in, let's filter booking date is not blank. So if you say this, then you are left with only two options, and all those options are valid options. So you have an option to filter. So this, under the visualization pane, you have different kinds of filters. There are in all a page level filter and a report level filter. So what you would see is report level filter will hide that filtered value from across the pages, whereas page level filter will only hide the value on this page. Like I said, if I want to add a new page, you can say page 2. At the same time, if you want to add a page from the top, you can still say, do you want to duplicate a page or you want a blank page? You can add one more. So it adds 3. So there are two ways to add tabs, which are known as pages. At the same time, you might want to hide a page from the end user. You can hide the page. So this is available to you in your Power BI desktop. Whereas when you publish this, page 3 won't be visible. You can delete a page if you don't need it, but ensure when you delete it, you delete it for sure. You don't have a soft deletes in Power BI desktop. There is no way to recover it. I would like to teach you the best practices while developing it later on in this program. So let's come back to this. So now we've seen how to install, download, at least start using, and ways to develop a very brief, fast introduction to Power BI Desktop, which we would again revisit it in our future course content. So now let's break this Power BI into what are the key components of Power BI ecosystem. As per Microsoft and released and experienced by all our developers, these are the components released by Power BI and Microsoft team, which is one, Power BI Desktop. This is Windows-based application for desktop and PCs, primarily for designing and publishing reports to the service. Please remember, this is your starting point when working with Power BI. What is Power BI service? The second step, as I said, among the top 3 tools we would require is Power BI Service. It is a software as a service platform which was earlier known as Power BI for Office 65 and now is known as Power BI.com or simply Power BI. So it's the same thing with different annotations, but what it essentially means, it is a location in the cloud provided by Microsoft team to help developers publish their developed reports into the cloud. Third is Power BI mobile app. This is a very simple Power BI mobile app. If you go into your Android or iOS or a Microsoft Windows marketplace, you would find app which would be a Power BI app. You just need to download a small app, which is a very lightweight app to download, and sign in with your Office credentials. When I say Office, is your corporate email ID and password, because it is all linked to your mail ID and your password. There are no separate IDs and no separate passwords apart from your email ID and password to connect to your Power BI reports. And this is basically the consumer's app, wherein whatever you publish on Power BI service would be available and shared with the concerned person would be available to those people in mobile apps. There is a strong security in place by Microsoft wherein no new reports or nobody else's reports are visible to any logged in mobile app user. Power BI Gateway is a tool which syncs any data from in and out of Power BI. It can connect to flows and Power Apps as well. So imagine a gateway is a tool wherein it will pull the data from the data source. It can be any data source, you name it, and then push the data into Power BI service. In this way, it refreshes the data periodically and there is no manual intervention by the end users or any human person to move the data from data source into Power BI. So it is pretty much a gateway wherein the source data is moved into the cloud, Power BI cloud for the end user's consumption. And this is a human free tool. Once designed and configured and placed into the system, it runs on its own. There is no human intervention and therefore no mistakes, no human errors, no missing timelines, and no asking for data. Everything all answered by just a simple gateway. That's a tool. We'll have a look at it very shortly in our future video. Power BI Embedded. What does Power BI Embedded mean? Power BI provides a REST API that can be used to build your own dashboards and reports, which can be consumed, which can be used into custom application. So Power BI users and non-Power BI users can access and understand the data which has been published. It might so happen that this Power BI has been purchased for n number of users and that same data needs to be accessed into some other application. So this is a big important point to remember by all the budding developers and current developers, that Power BI provides a REST API which can connect to your Power BI data periodically and use that data to display and consume that data to generate new reports and dashboard in other custom application. This is a slightly advanced topic which we would like to have a look at it towards the end of the entire Power BI understanding. Power BI Report Server. Power BI Report Server is a solution for companies that do not want to put their data onto a completely safe Microsoft cloud. There are companies like finance and medical, due to different restrictions by the federal government, would like to keep data with themselves for their audit and other requirements. For this requirement, Microsoft has come up with my Power BI report server, wherein you own the data, you publish the Power BI reports from the data you own and your on-premise setup. In this case, Power BI Report Server is an excellent tool catering to such domains such as finance and healthcare, especially across the world. The last but not least is Power BI Visuals Marketplace, a marketplace of custom visuals and R-powered visuals. The marketplace is essentially built for as a crowdsourcing mechanism by Microsoft to very quickly scale up their visualization development and also at the same time help the community which is going towards an open source implementation of their future products. So this is a good way to have an open source development in place along with the container, which is the Power BI monetization by the top companies. What is the Power BI pricing like? Let's have a look at it. What does the pricing look like? Yes. So if we go with the Power BI Pro, it is 9.99 monthly user price per person per month, right? And if there are more than around 350 to 400 users, that's a typical threshold which translates into $10 per user per month into enterprise. That's a threshold you would have to look at it. Do you want Power BI Premium or Power BI Pro? With most of the things which you would like to learn, implement, and share can be handled by Power BI Pro, and that Pro user needs to have a license which can be bought over the web by paying a monthly fee of $10 per user per month. You can have a look at it in different currency rates, as in Australian dollar, it is 30.70, USD being a standard across the world, It is $10 US per user per month, which helps you with self-service and modern BI. It helps you collaborate, publish into Power BI service, share it with the other relevant stakeholders, and do analysis. And it is fully managed by Microsoft, so there is no need to worry about your backups, your security, your storage sizes, etc. On the other side, there is Power BI Premium. It is an enterprise Power BI big analytics cloud and on-premise reporting. You can choose the way you want. Advanced administration controls are given to you, so you are in charge of the administration of this cloud, which can sometimes work for and sometimes against an organization. So it's a model which you would like to pick and choose based on your requirement and need. Dedicated cloud compute and storage resources. It can allow any user to consume Power BI content. Once you have a premium license of $4,995 per month, that would be sufficient to cater to all the users you have in your organization. Typically have a threshold around 350 and at max 500 users, after which you should go for Power BI Premium. This is where it is here. So it's a option between pick and choose. If you're starting fresh, new learning, please opt for Power BI Pro, which would help you quickly learn, understand, develop, and distribute your reports. And if you don't have to purchase this, you can always design your report using Power BI desktop and share the PBIX files to the relevant stakeholders, and they would open it like another tool like an Excel in this Power BI and view the content. So there are ways to work around the system, but the best way is to purchase a Power BI Pro license. Coming back,